What's up guys, it is Bucky and welcome to your 36th PHP tutorial. And if you've been following my tutorials since the beginning, you probably noticed a little small detail, and that's that I have not made a new PHP tutorial in literally about 2 years. But this morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? I feel like making some PHP tutorials. So that's what I'm doing, but I just want to give you guys that warning because that was 2 years ago and I don't have the best memory, so I'm not entirely sure the things we covered in the past. If we were working on any projects, then you can forget about those because it's 2 years later. My memory isn't that great, so just want to give you guys a heads up that was 2 years ago. If there's something that I teach you guys and I'm going over and I didn't cover, just leave me a comment and let me know, hey, you didn't cover this. But anyways, what we're going to be doing in these tutorials from now on, first thing we're going to do, the first thing we're going to be doing is working with object-oriented PHP. That's where we're going to pick up, and that's where we're going to go from here. So we're saying, alright, WTF is object-oriented PHP. Object-oriented PHP is pretty much a different way to program than we were in the last couple tutorials. Object-oriented PHP has to deal with two main concepts, and that's classes and objects. Now, what a class is it's pretty much a way to organize your data. All your variables and all functions that are related can go in one class. And an object is pretty much a way to access that class, to get all the variables and functions from that class and actually be able to use them. So for example, if you were building a program of all the things in the world, you would probably make a class for people, you'd probably make a different class for animals, and you'd probably make a different class for places or something. Now, in order to access all those things, you need objects. And if you create an object, you can access all the stuff from the people class, let's say, and you can create another object to access all the variables and functions from the animals class. So enough of me talking because I'm a programmer, not a talker. So let's go ahead and start programming. The first thing I'm going to do is make a simple class, and let's just go ahead and use that. Let's go ahead and make it for people. So class, let's go ahead and put it right there, class people. And by the way, typically whenever you make classes, you're going to want to put them in a separate file, but I'm going to throw all mine in the index, and this is just for the simplicity of making this tutorial real quick and showing you guys how to make a basic class. But anyways, if you're like working on it for a company and building these classes, you typically want to put each class in a separate file, and that's how people typically organize it. But anyways, like I said, in this case, everything's going in the index. So anyways, I have this class called people. In order to make a class, go ahead and type the name class, and then go ahead and name your class whatever you want. Now anything inside your curly braces is going to belong to that class. So let's go ahead and make a variable and a function that's part of the people's class, or the people class. Now, the first thing you need to do in order to make a variable, which is technically called a field when it's inside a class, but I call it a variable. But I just want to tell you guys that because if you're learning this for a class or something, not this class, but like a college class, and the word field is on your multiple choice test, choose that instead of variables. But this isn't a college course. This is the New Boston, so I can say whatever the F I want. I can even say F. How cool is that? So anyways, go ahead, and in order to make a variable or field, you first need to type a stupid keyword, and that's public. Now, these keywords, and they have to deal with something called scope. We're going to be covering those in a later tutorial, not this tutorial because we don't have time. But anyways, let's go ahead and make a variable called name. By the way, if you just can't wait, public means everything outside this class has access to this. Is pretty much basically that. But anyways, now that we have a variable called name, let's go ahead and make another function that can set the name, like set it to Bucky or Lisa or something like that. So let's go ahead and make a function, and of course use this. Go ahead and type that stupid public, whatever that means. We're going to be covering that in probably the next tutorial. And go ahead and make a function just like you did before. We'll name this function set name and pass it in the parameter x. And now we want to say this. Alright, we have a variable in this class called name, and what we want to do is we want to set it equal to whatever value we pass in. So if we pass in Bucky as X, we want to set this variable equal to Bucky. So how do we say we want to work with this variable? I know what you're saying, just go ahead and type name like that. Well, with classes it's a little bit different. In order to access a field in this class or a variable, you need to type a special this keyword. This means, alright, I'm going to be working with something in this class. What am I going to be working with? And now you're going to want to make a little arrow. And this is another dumb syntax that you have to use, but hey, don't take it up with me, take up whoever invented PHP. And now, once you have this and the dumb little arrow, go ahead and type whatever variable name you want to work with, and that's name. And note that whenever you're working with it in this style, it doesn't use the $sign. The only time you got to put the $sign is with the this, and that's it, not on the name. If you put it on the name, you're going to get an error or something weird is going to happen. So now that you're working with this variable right here, go ahead and set it equal to that X value. So check this out. We have a class called people that has a variable in it and a function. Whenever we call this function, what it's going to do is, if we pass in Bucky for it, it's going to say, alright, set this variable equal to the name Bucky, or whatever your name is. So anyways, let's go ahead and in our body, let's go ahead and do that right now. Actually, I don't even know if we're gonna have time in this tutorial. Actually, we'll save this for next tutorial because I really hate running out of time. So anyways, in the next tutorial, what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna upload this to my website, and I'm gonna show you guys how to create, enough of me explaining what I'm going to do in the next tutorial. Just watch the other tutorial and then you'll know what I'm doing. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.